kwxk.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a bit of a longish video, but I'll try to keep things short. There are timestamps in the description for your convenience, so please check it out. But here's a summary of what I'll be talking about in this video. Verteporfin, initially developed for age-related macular degeneration, an eye condition that slowly causes blindness, has emerged as a promising treatment in hair restoration, particularly in follicular unit extraction or FUE, and follicular unit transplantation or FUT hair transplant procedures. Verteporfin's role in inhibiting the YES-associated protein, also known as YAP, is significant in reducing scar formation and potentially enhancing regrowth in the donor area, making it a potential game changer in hair transplants. So, when you typically remove hair from the donor area during a hair transplant, you induce scarring in the sites in which the hair was removed. And in theory, if verteporfin is applied to those sites, specific proteins are blocked that cause the formation of scar tissue. And if those proteins are blocked, then you're going to get normal hair regrowing from that area. So essentially, you've doubled the supply of your donor area. Now, there has been an update in a recent 15-month trial result using verteporfin in hair transplants by Dr. Barghouthi, a Jordanian hair transplant surgeon. And the results are very remarkable, because right now, from the images and the trial itself, it's suggesting hair regrowth in the donor area that has been treated with verteporfin. And this suggests the possibility of verteporfin creating a potential infinite donor source for hair transplant patients. Now, if all goes well in extended research and these hairs are viable, this is a huge game changer. You can get someone going from potentially a Norwood, let's say 5, going to a Norwood 2 by various rounds of hair transplants with supplementation of verteporfin in the donor area to prevent fibrosis or scarring and bring about new hair follicles in the sites in which the hair follicles were once extracted from those donor areas. So that's pretty much what we're going to be covering in this video. This breakthrough could redefine hair transplant surgery, offering new hope for those dealing with hair loss, and marks a significant step forward in the field. So, with that being said, let's get on with this video. But also, I just created channel memberships for as little as $2 a month, so consider joining for early access and exclusive content. Well, let's begin.
Hi.
Hey.
So, you come here a lot?
Never. Can I get a shot of espresso, please? Double.
Sure.
In the dynamic field of medical science, verteporfin emerged as a notable drug initially developed for treating age-related macular degeneration. Now, it's making a significant stride in hair restoration. Its novel application in this field is propelled by innovative experiments and studies suggesting a transformative impact on hair transplant procedures. Now, to understand how verteporfin works, we have to look at a specific interaction of a protein called YAP, the YES-associated protein, and how this protein deals with the formation of scar tissue. And also, what does scar tissue have to do with hair transplants? Well, in the technical explanation of the YES-associated protein, or YAP, and its role in fibroblast behavior, as detailed in the review titled, quote, "Is the Future Scarless? Fibroblasts as Targets for Scarless Wound Healing?" by Dylan Perry of Newcastle University Medical School and Keith Allison of South Tees Hospital NHS Foundation Trust. In this particular review, YAP signaling is identified as a key mechanism in the physiological process of scarring. YAP is a transcriptional co-activator that when activated, influences the behavior of fibroblasts. And fibroblasts are a type of cell that contributes to the formation of connective tissue. So when it comes to specific wounds, sometimes the wounds are too deep, and this YAP protein causes these fibroblasts to create scar tissue in the healing process. YAP activation leads to the stimulation of engrailed-1 or EN1 gene in fibroblasts, promoting a fibrotic response. Now, this fibrotic response is characterized by the production of excess scar tissue as opposed to regenerative healing that would restore normal skin structure. Now, verteporfin intervenes in this process by blocking the YAP pathway. This inhibition or blocking prevents the activation of the EN1 gene in fibroblasts, thereby shifting their behavior toward a more generative mode. Essentially, verteporfin suppresses the molecular signals that typically lead to scarring and encourages a healing process that more closely resembles the natural regeneration seen in early human development. This mechanism of action is pivotal in understanding verteporfin's potential in reducing scarring in various medical applications, including hair transplant surgeries. So let's use a more layman's explanation to explain what's going on here. Imagine your skin is a busy city street after an event that causes damage, like let's say a natural disaster. Fibroblasts are like the constructive workers in this city, responsible for repairing the damage. The YES-associated protein, or YAP, acts like a city planner that tells these workers how to rebuild, either quickly and temporarily put something up, like scar tissue, or take time to rebuild beautifully regenerated structure. Usually after an injury, YAP tells fibroblasts to work fast, leading to scarring, which is like a quick but not so pretty repair. Verteporfin is like a new city law that changes these instructions, telling the workers, or the fibroblast, to rebuild carefully and beautifully, restoring the city, or your skin, to its original state, rather than leaving it with unsightly scars.
This is me 4 years ago on my 30th, but you might have thought it was my 40th.
And lucky for you, bro, I got you that doctor's appointment.
Talk to your doctor about Propecia, the proven way to treat hair loss.
So, hair transplants, how do they work? Now, we have to look at hair transplants in this case. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them, but let's do a quick review on what they are and how they work. Now, you have the follicular unit extraction, or FUE, and the follicular unit transplantation, or FUT, which represents two of the most advanced techniques in hair transplant surgeries. Now, each method has its own unique approach and implications, making the potential integration of verteporfin in these procedures particularly significant. In the FUE procedure, it involves the individual extraction of hair follicles from the donor area, which is usually in the back of the head. Now, this area is chosen due to its resistance to DHT, or dihydrotestosterone miniaturization. The technique uses a micro-punch tool to remove each follicular unit containing 1 to 4 hairs, one at a time. This method results in tiny dot-like scars scattered across the donor area. Now, these scars are less noticeable than that of the FUT, the follicular unit transplantation method, and the overall procedure is considered less invasive, with a quicker recovery time. FUE is particularly suitable for patients who prefer short haircuts where the minimal scarring is an advantage, and for those looking to avoid a more noticeable linear scar, like with FUT. Now, FUT, on the other hand, is a bit more invasive because it involves removing a strip of the scalp from the donor area. You're actually cutting into the scalp and you're removing like a meaty portion of it, and over there the hair follicles are then dissected and removed from this strip and then transplanted into the balding areas. Now, this method leaves a linear scar where this strip was removed, and the scar can be hidden under longer hair, but it represents a significant limitation for those who prefer shorter hairstyles. The healing process is generally longer in FUT compared to FUE. Not only that, but you have to stitch or suture up the wound, which can be very uncomfortable for patients. Now, why would somebody pick an FUT over an FUE? Now, FUT is often chosen for patients who need a large number of grafts in a single session and are comfortable with longer hairstyles that can conceal the scar. Also, there are, I guess you can say, minor economic benefits with an FUT over an FUE. Because you're getting more hair follicles quicker with an FUT, it's actually cheaper to do an FUT over an FUE, but in my experience and research from what I've seen, the prices don't differ that much, but if you do want to save a bit of money, you can go with an FUT, but however, it's not going to be that aesthetically appealing. However, if we're going with the idea of verteporfin being used to heal wounds, then maybe doing an FUT and applying verteporfin could give you even more benefit due to the amount of scar that's left in the place that the strip was taken out, and potentially verteporfin could bring more hair follicles back into those areas.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess. Except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Now, the introduction of verteporfin into these hair transplant techniques is groundbreaking. Its ability to inhibit the yes-associated protein, or YAP, and reduce scar formation can potentially revolutionize both FUE and FUT procedures. In FUE, verteporfin could make the already minimal scars even less visible, enhancing the cosmetic outcome. In FUT, it has potential to significantly reduce the visibility of the linear scar, addressing one of the major drawbacks to this technique. Moreover, verteporfin's potential to promote hair regrowth in the donor area is particularly game-changing. One of the primary limitations in hair transplant surgeries is the finite supply of the donor hair. By encouraging hair regeneration in the donor area, verteporfin could effectively create a so-called infinite donor source. This advancement could benefit patients with limited donor hair, including those who have undergone multiple hair transplants or those with extensive balding, offering more effective and versatile treatment options. The integration of verteporfin into FUE and FUT procedures promises to improve the outcomes of hair transplant surgeries significantly. By enhancing healing, reducing scarring, and potentially increasing the donor hair availability, verteporfin could make hair restoration more effective and accessible for a broad range of patients, making a significant step forward in the field of hair restoration. So guys, this is why verteporfin is so exciting for hair restoration. It encourages the skin in the donor area of the hair transplant to heal in a way that allows hair to regrow naturally. Rather than forming a scar where the hair can't grow, no. You are going to be getting more hair if it works, right? If we're seeing what Dr. Barghouthi's trial is showing, if that actually is feasible, if all is said and done after this research, if it grows more hair, then you can get somebody going from Norwood 6 potentially, right, all the way up to a Norwood 2, or even a Norwood 1. Who's to say? What we have to determine is that whether or not these hairs are viable when verteporfin is used, or even how many rounds of this could go, right? Let's say you can only use verteporfin in a single area after 4 rounds, and when it's the 5th round of regenerating hair, that's when the donor area starts to significantly decline. That isn't the case right now. It hasn't been enumerated on, so we need to do more research. But so far, at least from Dr. Barghouthi's studies, we do see some hair regrowth in the areas that are treated with verteporfin. So we're going to actually touch on that right now.
Special someone.
Sorry, can't help you there.
I want to know more about a diet I can live with?
No way. Not in this commercial.
I want to know more about Rogaine.
Rogaine with minoxidil?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah!
Okay. Just call this number now for a free information kit on Rogaine topical solution.
So, verteporfin's use in current practice. Jordanian hair transplant surgeon Dr. Barghouthi's innovative experiment using verteporfin has come with some exciting results recently, as of recording this video November 10th of 2023. So these exciting results come after 15 months of using verteporfin on his subjects. So let's do a quick overview of what's going on. The recent developments in the application of verteporfin for hair restoration, particularly the follicular unit extraction and the follicular unit transplantation procedures, have marked a significant milestone in the field, with the latest update from Dr. Barghouthi showcasing 15-month results of ongoing trials with verteporfin. The medical community has observed a substantial leap forward in the potential of this treatment. These findings, disseminated through the Hair Restoration Network forums, underscore verteporfin's promising role in improving hair transplant outcomes. Dr. Barghouthi administers verteporfin immediately after FUE and FUT hair transplant procedures, capitalizing on its ability to heal scars and encourage hair regrowth in the donor areas. The objective is to create a substantial, possibly infinite, source of donor hair. The 15-month trial results have revealed that a significant contrast exists in hair regrowth between the control and treated groups, suggesting that a transformative impact of verteporfin is possible in hair restoration. A key highlight from Dr. Barghouthi's report is the remarkable appearance of the treated areas, with some looking virtually untouched, indicating extensive hair regrowth in the donor region, and again, that donor region has verteporfin applied to it. Now, the level of regrowth, particularly if it consistently reaches or exceeded 50%, could effectively double the size of the donor area, a prospect that has been termed as potentially curative for hair loss. Now, these results are without a doubt very encouraging. In fact, it does prompt more research in this direction to see how viable verteporfin is. But nevertheless, the medical community must maintain a degree of cautious optimism. Now, the anticipation is that by the end of 2024, an increasing number of hair restoration specialists will integrate verteporfin into their practices. And with this wider adoption of verteporfin in the hair transplant surgery community, both patients and medical practitioners will start to become aware of this particular use of verteporfin. And we can finally see with more subjects, that is, whether or not this is feasible. If it starts to be the case that the hairs that regrow in the donor area extraction sites are actually feasible hairs, normal like the hairs that were taken out, then again, this would just show how much of a game-changing thing this would be for hair transplants. Now, there's another hair transplant surgeon who's doing a parallel study of sorts with verteporfin. This is Dr. Bloxham, and his experiments with verteporfin on FUT scars have also shown initial success, adding to the growing body of evidence that verteporfin's effectiveness in scar mitigation and YAP protein inhibition may find itself very useful in hair transplant procedures. So looking at Dr. Barghouthi's 1.5-year update results, we can see that in the left site of this particular patient where an FUE procedure was done, this site was treated with verteporfin at 0.4 milligrams per centimeter squared, and the right site served as a control area, and it wasn't treated with verteporfin at all. The site that was treated with verteporfin, 0.4 milligram, you can see that there are more hair follicles there. Like there's more hair follicles there. There's more density in that particular area. And this is a sign that the hair follicles regenerated out of the extracted follicular unit sites. That is amazing. So we have to wait and see what will these hairs become. Are they vellus hairs? And I don't think they're vellus hairs at all, because I'm looking at the hairs themselves right now. If you're not looking at the screen, maybe I'll try to zoom in or something like that in post-production. But these are clearly terminal hairs. They're thick and wide, they're dark colored. These are terminal hairs. So potentially Verteporfin is reintegrating these hairs when they come back, not as vellus hairs, no, as strong terminal hairs, which is good for us because that's what we care about. Up close, you can see the difference between the control region and the test region. And guys, it's night and day in terms of difference. The test region, where 0.4 milligram of Verteporfin was applied immediately after extraction of follicular unit extraction, you can see in that area there's more hair follicles versus in the other area you can see clear scar tissue that remains. You don't see any hair follicles coming out of those particular areas. This is exciting. This is very exciting. Looking at Dr. Bloxham's trial of Verteporfin, we can see the same thing, right? You have this patient who's been treated with a particular dose of Verteporfin, and in that particular area, hair is coming about. It's coming out. You know, this is pretty exciting. There's minimal scarring that's taking place, and this goes to show that, yes, we are getting new hair that's coming out of these particular donor areas. So yeah, I don't want to rage on and talk about this for too long. I just want to make my subscribers and other people who come across this video aware that there's exciting research coming about, and right now we can be cautiously optimistic about Verteporfin and what that means in terms of hair transplants. So the evidence right now is saying, hey, keep looking in this direction, keep researching how to inhibit the YES-associated proteins, the YAP protein signaling to the fibroblasts to mitigate scarring after a FUE or FUT treatment. That's where the evidence is telling us. Keep researching this area because right now, things look pretty promising. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you got to the end of this video, we haven't done this in a while, but if you got to the end of this video, comment in the comment section below, purple star. Yes, purple star. Why purple star? I'm not really sure. I just wanted to use the color purple and the object of a star. So comment that if you got to the end of this video. And remember, if you want to support this channel, you can look at my Buy Me a Coffee link or become a channel member for as little as $2 a month. And I do hair loss consultation services if you want to request my non-clinical experience and what I would do in a situation like yours. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.